Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering. Off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler video series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff and drink stuff, then, folks. I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks. I'm not going to lie. I have to imagine these are going to be amazing, but we'll see. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my Edema shirt. Yeah, one of a couple that I have. If you're unfamiliar with the band Edema, they are a band out of Bakersfield, California. They had sort of their heyday in kind of the early 2000s period when the nu metal scene was really kind of exploding. Famously, the original lead singer was actually the half-brother of the lead singer of the band Korn, Jonathan Davis. So I kind of went over there and raised their profile a little bit. But it does beg mentioning that they've continued on ever since his departure. They've had a few lead singers since then. But regardless of anything, they keep trucking along. The main four core members, they keep kicking ass. I've been fortunate enough to see them perform a few times now. They've never disappointed. I actually, just got to see them for the first time as a four-piece, minus the lead singer they had previously. And they're still fucking killing it, man. If you don't believe me, I actually have videos of their performance on my channel, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction as far as their music is concerned, because I think they're fucking absolutely awesome. But anyway, what am I trying for today, folks? What are we doing here? Why do I expect this to be awesome? Well, that's because, folks, it happens to be, boom, from Oreos, blueberry pie Oreos. Okay, all right. Yeah, somebody had sent me a picture of this, like a couple weeks ago, and it took me a little bit to find it, but eventually, it started showing up in stores. And I mean, that has to be delicious. So, let's do a thing for the thing here. Ah, the lighting is terrible. It is what it is. Sure. Let's give it a go. Done a little bit. I think the last Oreo flavor I did was like the Selena Gomez flavor, so. Yeah, let go. Alright. It's the only problem with doing this, well, there's lots of problems with doing this out in the summer, but it looks like that. Yeah, it's kind of blue. Let's give it a go. Okay. A little bit of an aftertaste. Okay. Yeah, okay. Not bad. I think that it does hit on like the blueberry pie flavor. I think that, using the white cookies to go over there and sort of act as the, the pie element of it was a good choice. The blueberry aspect of it, because obviously that's the key thing here, ain't half bad. I wouldn't say it's not like a vibrant blueberry flavor, but, it has kind of a mellow sort of berry sort of flavor. You even get a little bit of a tanginess, because, you think blueberries, they're not just sweet. They've got a little bit of a tang to them. You get a little bit of that, but it never really reaches like a proper blueberry crescendo of flavor. But the flavor itself, I would say, overall pretty solid, and it does a pretty good job of representing the flavor it's trying to emulate. I could eat this without knowing what it is, and I think I could probably guess that, yeah, okay, that's probably like some sort of blueberry flavor, or at least something to that effect. But yeah, it is a fairly neutral sort of blueberry flavor. Like I said, it doesn't really reach much of a peak in terms of, again, like that vibrancy that, you would like. And obviously, it's fucking cookies, so you can only expect so much. But I will say, and I've run into this problem sometimes with Oreo. Oh, God damn it, my fucking shoulder's still jacked up right now. I have noticed with some Oreo flavors, especially when they try to institute like fruit flavors into the whole thing, that is extremely hit or miss because obviously it's all very artificial, very chemically. You do get a little bit of that in this. It's not egregious. Like I have had, not in a while, to their credit, but I have had some flavors, especially in the past few years, where I just think that Oreo kind of overstepped, or maybe a little over ambitious, and the sort of chemically aspect of things came through a bit too far. I wouldn't say this goes too far, but it is there. It is a little bit noticeable in the aftertaste. So the front end of it is definitely the best part. And, as it does sort of reach the limited peak that it can get in terms of the blueberry flavor, that's when it's really at its nicest. And as it begins to slide down, that's when you get, again, sort of, very artificial kind of aftertaste sort of thing going on. And that's definitely the worst part of it. But it's not egregious. I can live with it. But it does take away from the overall. These aren't quite as good as I was hoping they would be. But they're not bad. Just, Okay. 2 questions have to be asked, though. Would I get them again? Would I recommend them? No and sure. Here's the thing. For me personally, I don't mind these, but again, I definitely am not loving them the way I was hoping. Because I did expect to come into these and be like, yeah, these are some really fucking badass ones. No. I don't feel like the blueberry flavor, they do, again, a pretty good job of emulating the overall. It doesn't have the vibrancy, it doesn't have, just that specialness. And I can understand that, and I can go with that, but that plus the addition of, again, that sort of artificial aftertaste, that kind of pushed it out of range for me. These are definitely kind of a one-and-done flavor for me. I don't mind them. I will certainly go over there and eat the rest of them at some point, or maybe share them with some friends if they come over. But yeah, I don't think that they're like a top tier flavor like I was hoping. Now, if I'm recommending them, I'm still gonna say sure, because at the end of the day, they're not a bad flavor. They're a limited edition run, so they're worth at least checking out. But again, I wouldn't consider them to be anywhere near like a top tier Oreo flavor. They're a bit of fun for the summer, and like I said, if you run into them, with them being a limited edition thing, certainly worth at least giving a try. But I don't know, your mileage may vary with them, but for me, like I said, they're decent, but nothing special. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly blueberry pie-tastic rest of your life, because blueberry pie is wonderful. It's not my favorite type of pie, but, it's good pie. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. When we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there, whenever possible, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your favorite type of pie? I mean, for me, it's hard to say. I do love a French silk pie, man. Oh, French silk pie is so good. Banana cream. Banana cream's really good. Any of the fruit pies. I mean, really, there's not too many. I don't know that there's a pie I've run into. You know what? Coconut. Yeah, coconut cream. I'm not big on. I'm just not a big fan of coconut, but pretty much any type of pie is just delicious, man. Like, for me personally, pie, cake. Cake is fine. Certain cakes are really good, but pie is where it's at. But what about you? Anyway.